Snow whispered through the ruins of Eldraven Vale, a forgotten corner of the north where daylight seldom reached. They said no living thing survived the frost storms there. But that wasn't true. One thing lived, and she was neither dead nor truly alive. Seren Valecrest. Once, she'd been a daughter of the Crimson Coven, a vampire scholar, sworn to the old laws, but mercy had cost her everything. When ordered to sacrifice a child for a prophecy she no longer believed in, Seren refused. She killed her own coven mistress instead, and for that, she became the hunted. For months she fled through frost and shadow, from mountain crypts to shattered monasteries. Her name became a curse whispered in the dark, the blood traitor of Eldraven. Now she lived alone in her crumbling ancestral keep, sustained by snowmelt and stolen blood, surrounded by ghosts of her own making. That night, the wind carried a sound she hadn't heard in centuries, a cry that wasn't human, high-pitched, terrified, like something small fighting for its life. Seren followed it into the woods. The storm clawed at her cloak, her boots breaking through snow that reached her knees. And there, beneath an ancient ash tree, she saw it. A white wolf pup trapped in a silver snare that pulsed with old magic. Each time the creature moved, the thorns tightened and hissed with holy light. The smell of burning fur, mixed with blood and silver. Seren crouched low. "Shh," she whispered. "It's all right." The pup growled, frightened, eyes glowing faintly blue, not like any wolf she'd ever seen. The runes on the trap burned her palms as she pried it open. Smoke rose from her skin, but she didn't stop. The silver carved into her bones, and the scent of her blood filled the air. Finally, the last link broke. The pup collapsed against her, shivering. "Easy now," she murmured, wrapping him in her cloak. "No one's going to hurt you again." When she carried him back to her castle, the storm quieted, almost as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Inside, she laid the pup by the hearth, watching the firelight flicker across his fur. "Rest, little one," she said softly. "You're safe now." But nothing in Eldraven Vale ever stays safe for long. As the dawn broke over the snowfields, thunder rolled in the distance. Heavy, deliberate, too measured to be a storm, and then the ground began to shake. The castle gates shuddered once, twice, and then exploded inward. From the blizzard outside stepped a giant, taller than any mortal man, wrapped in furs and battle steel, his breath misting like smoke from a forge. His eyes locked on Seren, and the walls themselves seemed to flinch. "Where is he?" he thundered. "Where is my son?" Seren didn't move. "If you mean the wolf, he's alive. I freed him." The giant's jaw tightened. "Freed him? Do you know what binds that chain? It was forged to hold gods." She straightened, unafraid. "Then perhaps gods should stop trapping children." For a moment, silence stretched between them. The hum of power, the smell of frost and blood. Then, a small sound broke it. Tiny paws against stone. The wolf pup limped from the shadows, and before their eyes, light erupted from his body. Fur dissolved into skin, claws to fingers, until a boy stood trembling on the frozen floor. His hair was silver white, his eyes shifting between blue and gold. He looked at the giant and whispered, "Father." The storm outside stilled. Even the fire seemed to bow to that word. The giant fell to his knees, hands trembling as he gathered the boy close. "Arik," he breathed, voice breaking. "I thought you were gone." Seren watched, silent. The scent of their bond, blood, grief, love, hung in the air like incense. When the boy finally slept, the giant turned to her. "I am Kaelen of Frostspire," he said. "You saved what I could not." Seren nodded slowly. "He's not fully wolf, is he?" "No," Kaelen admitted. "His mother was from the spirit tribes of the north, a seer, born under a silver eclipse. When she died, her spirit bound itself to our son. The Coven feared what he might become, and set the snare that caught him." Her chest tightened. "Then I saved him from my own people." He studied her face, reading the truth there. "You're one of them." "Not anymore," she said quietly. "They hunt me now." Kaelen's expression softened, the rage fading to something like sorrow. "Then you have nowhere to go." Seren turned away. "I never do." But that night, As the wind howled and snow hammered the roof, she heard a small voice whisper from the firelight. "Don't leave," said Arik, his golden eyes wide. "You made the bad dreams stop." And something inside her cracked. She stayed. Days became weeks. The frost thickened, and so did the bond between them. Kaelen repaired what he could of the castle. Arik followed Seren like a shadow, laughing for the first time since his mother's death. But the laughter didn't last. Because shadows travel faster than light, and word of Seren's mercy had reached the Coven. They were coming. The first attack came at dusk. Black arrows fell from the cliffs, burning with crimson fire. The reapers of the Coven had arrived, assassins sworn to cleanse betrayal with death. Kaelen met them at the gates, roaring, his great axe splitting the storm. Seren moved beside him, blades flashing like shards of moonlight. Together, they fought as though fate itself demanded it. Vampire and giant, fury and frost. Every blow they struck drew the storm closer, until even the sky seemed to bleed. When the final reaper fell, Seren staggered, silver wounds burning down her arms. Kaelen caught her before she fell. "You're hurt," she laughed weakly. "You should see the other ones." Arik ran to her, trembling. "They said you were evil," he whispered. "But you saved me. You saved us." Seren looked at the boy, then at Kaelen. "I didn't save anyone. I just chose not to lose you." Kaelen met her gaze, voice low. "You don't have to run anymore." She tried to argue, but his hand rose, brushing the frost from her cheek. For the first time in centuries, she didn't pull away. "Seren Valecrest," he said softly, "I think the gods sent you to us, and I don't care what blood hunts you." "You are ours now." Her lips parted. The words caught in her throat. "Yours?" she echoed, voice trembling like the first crack in ice before spring. The night deepened. The fire burned low. And beneath that endless storm, she finally felt what she thought she'd lost forever. Belonging. Days later, when dawn broke across Eldraven Vale, the snow was untouched by blood for the first time in an age. Kaelen stood watching the horizon, his arm around Seren, the boy curled between them. They were not just survivors anymore, they were family. And the legends say, if you walk those ruins now, you can still hear a woman's laughter carried on the wind. Not haunted, not hunted, free. You can't outrun the past, but sometimes love finds you in the ruins of what it destroys, and the ones you save may be the ones who finally save you. Tell me, do you believe that even those branded as monsters can still find redemption in love? Or do you think some hearts are too scarred to ever belong again? I'd like to hear what you believe down there in the comments below.